Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for watching my analysis on my different resources that I use, seeing how accessible they are. So as you can see, my first resource that I'm going to be discussing is my PowerPoint presentations. This is actually a PowerPoint that we have recently used. It talks about our energy in life, obviously, goes into autotrophs, heterotrophs, and talks about ATP, our cellular energy form. So kind of walking through the different accessibility aspects of it, starting from that web accessibility guidelines document that was put up on D2L. Starting with the outline view, I typically do not have my PowerPoint presentations in the outline view. I have two PowerPoints pulled up, so typically they're in this sort of layout. However, I do see the benefits of having it over here in the outline view, and I know it does say start over here, create your text. So if we start on this slide, we can add a new slide. Don't want to do that. But down here, build it, and then add your images to that. I can definitely see the benefit of that because it does keep it in order, and it keeps it in order the way that it would be read or the way that it would be viewed for the students. It kind of follows that slide layout, which is the second aspect of the accessible PowerPoints. Being able to keep the same format throughout the presentation, not switching it up and having different layouts. That would kind of screw up with the reader, I guess. Kind of keep working the way down the list of that web accessibility. The reading order I did check. It says you can just click anywhere on the slide without highlighting a text box and just tab through, and it will essentially go through the order that would be read. Most of my PowerPoints are set up pretty much the same, where I have the heading and then the one giant text box that has the different aspects within it. And then, typically an image, but not all the time. So, I do think that, keeping the order obviously the way that you want it and checking it with each slide is important, because obviously if what is energy is read first and then saying examples and then the definition might not be as effective or helpful to the students as defining energy first and then giving examples. So I can definitely see where keeping that reading order is essential for the students. Going on to the next component of accessible PowerPoints, the links component of it. This particular PowerPoint presentation doesn't have any external links in it, which is why I have the second PowerPoint. And here, as you can see, there's a link down here. It is hyperlinked. All of the links are hyperlinked that I use. However, I typically don't have, a meaningful description that goes with where it's going. It's just the URL. However, for my purposes, for your purposes watching, it is very easy to change. Just, I'm using a Mac right now, so I double click, go to the hyperlink, edit, and then text to display. I can just switch that pretty quick and easy. Let's see, it's an example of energy releasing, so we'll put exergonic reaction, and then all we have to do is hit OK, and it changes, and that is still hyperlinked. So while I'm going through the presentation, I still just have to click on it, and it'll take me right to that link. Again, I can definitely see the benefits in having an actual explanation or an actual title to your hyperlinks. That way you and the students both know what what type of outside resource you're going to. I could even add, YouTube video afterwards or something along that lines to help me and the students know what it is. Switching back over to the other PowerPoint, as you can see, I don't have the outline view going on this one. But back to this one. I typically don't have tables in any of my PowerPoint presentations. When we do our Punnett squares, they'll be, just squares, Punnett squares in the PowerPoints, but I won't have them actually filled in or anything along those lines. It would just be an example of what a Punnett square is and then how to fill it in. I would go about doing that by hand drawing directly on the slides. So I don't really think that the tables feature really pertains to my PowerPoints necessarily. Now my Word documents or PDFs, that's where there's going to be several tables that I'm going to have to take a look at as my other resource and see how capable those are or how accessible those are. Kind of color, video, and audio. Um, the color aspect of it, using sufficient color contrast. As silly as it sounds, I don't really pay too much attention of the color contrast. Um, I just kind of pick a layout and go from there. I do keep all the slides the same, layout, same background, um, throughout the whole PowerPoint presentation, and I do switch between, one design and another design, from PowerPoint to PowerPoint. But I am color deficient, so colors don't really, pertain to me too much, which, sounds terrible when I say it out loud, because the slides are not for me, they are for the students. So, it also says down here in the document, don't use color alone to convey meaning. There is no relation between the color of the slides, the color of the, writing, and any type of meaning towards the content. So that I could definitely see why just using color might not benefit the students, because if their student is color deficient like myself, then having a red word for their meaning might not help them at all, might actually confuse them more. So these are kind of my PowerPoints. Typical layout of them pretty much stays the same. Overall, thinking about it, I do think that they are relatively accessible. However, I do think that this outline view, and when constructing the PowerPoints, to start over here in the outline view and building that and then adding the pictures, is definitely beneficial. And I do think that adding the alternative text to the images would also be beneficial for the students. I don't think I touched on that. However, I typically do not have the alternative text in. However, I did add it for this image down here. Was just playing around with it. It is pretty simple to navigate, to figure out. All you do is, again, double click on the image, format picture. It'll pop up over here. Go to this little guy, which took me a while to find actually, and then type it in down here. My biggest concern with kind of using these different types of things, a page reader or anything along those lines for a science class, especially biology, is there's a lot of big words that are not very common. Adenosine triphosphate is not a very common word. Whether that page reader can read it properly, that I'm not sure. If any of you guys watching this knows the answer to that, please let me know. But there are some big words in biology that I don't know if it would be able to read. So getting back to my closing, these are my typical PowerPoints. There are several things that I would like to start working on when constructing my PowerPoints, and kind of fixing them up as I go into my next units throughout the rest of the semester. But I would like to thank you for watching. Please, any feedback you have, please let me know. And again, if you do know about the text reader, if it can say relatively all the words, even the science larger words, if you know about that, please let me know. Thank you for watching, and I will put up a second video of my second resource momentarily.